welcome to Little Srinro channel. I'm Jess and this is Little Srinro. And today we're going to show you how to draw this beautiful landscape painting, and it's very easy. Anybody can draw it. Let's go. First, you want to choose a soft brown brush and make sure the opacity or accumulation of the brush is down to about 40%. I also want to turn up the size a bit because the brush will be used to paint the sky. So bigger the brush will help us fill up the sky faster. Next, I'm going to choose a bright orange with a saturation above 70 and brightness above 50. You can get the color code in the description below. Fill up about half the sky with this color. Then I'm going to choose a dark purple with a low saturation to fill up the rest of the sky. Again, you can find this purple color in the description below. I also put some purple on the orange area as well because the brush opacity is low. It helps the two colors blend together. With the same purple, I'm also decrease the lightness down a bit to about 25%, then fill up the top of the sky to make the top look a little bit darker. I feel like I'm gonna need a bit more orange in the bottom here, so I'm just gonna go back and add the orange on. Next, under the Effect tab on the right hand side, we are going to apply the Gaussian Blur to this layer. This will help the sky color blend a bit better. I adjust the Gaussian Blur to about 20 to 22 pixel. Now, when you apply the Gaussian Blur, you will see the edge become a little bit white. All you have to do is select the layer and expand them until you don't see the white area anymore. Next, we will create a new layer above this current layer. This layer will be the ocean. I pick a pink color for the ocean with a very low saturation and lightness about 40%. Again, you can find this color in the description. I use the rectangular marquee tool to help me paint straight skyline. Once you select the area, you can paint freely without worry about going out of the area. Once you're done, you can deselect the area. With the same color, I'm going to reduce the lightness a bit to get a darker color. I use this color to paint the bottom of the ocean. This part is darker because it's closer to the eye and further away from the sun. So I make some adjustment for the proportion of the sky and the ocean, following the rule of thirds. So ocean will take about 1/3 of the picture and the sky will take 2/3 of the picture. That way it's just more eye-catching than half sky and half ocean. Okay, next we will make the sun. This is the main character or object, the center of attention in this painting. So on a separate layer, we're gonna select a round shape and place it right in the middle of the painting. The sun is setting on the ocean, so we only see half of the sun. I choose a very bright yellow for the sun and increase the lightness a little bit and add the lighter yellow in the center of the sun. Then under the Effects tab, I use the Gaussian Blur effect, put it about 0.9 pixel, so a very subtle blur. Next, I create a layer underneath the sun layer, then start painting the orange around the edge of the sun. This orange color is slightly darker than the sky color. You will see I'm slowly building up the color. Create this orange glow around the sun. Next, I'm gonna add some red outside of the orange to create even bigger glow for the sun. And then last, I add a bright yellow closer to the sun. Once I'm happy with the color, I'm gonna use the Gaussian Blur effect to blur them out. The blur radius is about 79 pixels. Next, I'm using a gouache brush. I'll set the accumulation or opacity to 40%. You don't have to use the exact same brush that I have. If you use other program that is not affinityphoto, an alternative, you can use a pencil brush or any brush that have a light texture to it. Just make sure you have the brush opacity down to 40% so the brush stroke is soft. I'm gonna use the same orange that I used for the sky to create the reflection of the sun, painting these horizontal lines onto the ocean. Make sure your brush is very small in order to create these thin lines on the water. Then I'm gonna use the same color that I used for the sun to add on to the reflection. Next, I choose a very dark pink to add these lines onto the ocean to replicate the wave of the ocean. For the wave at the bottom of the picture, they are closer to the eyes, so I will have them bigger than the ones that further away. So I reduce the size of my brush much smaller for the ones that are far away. Next, I use the selection tool or lasso tool to create these rocks in the foreground. I fill them in with a very dark purple. Then we're gonna decrease the size of the brush and add this red color onto the edge of the rocks. Because when the sun hitting on these rocks, you will see the rocks are slightly glowing on the edge and have a brighter color on the edge. Then I'm just do the same thing on this other side of the rocks. Once we're done, we can deselect them. Next, I'm gonna draw some small detail for our painting. So I want to pick a brush that is solid and have a sharp edge. So I don't want any texture, just solid brush. And therefore I choose ink brush. Ink brush is one of my go-to when I draw small details. I choose a very dark purple. It's very close to black, but not quite. And then I'm gonna draw these birds in the background. You just have to flick the pen very slightly to create the birds. I'm also gonna add a ship over it here. I already added the reflection of the ship using the same technique that we use for the sun reflection. In order to create these straight lines, hold Shift on the keyboard when you're drawing it. I'm going to draw 4 straight lines, then connect them with the curve, and then fill them in with the color. And now our painting is finished. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next Friday.